Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Join me as we go back to play the games at some time in November 1982. We were last playing Monster Mash on the Apple II, and it was a graveyard smash. Let's see what our next game is. Our next game is Mr. Rich Man, and after the ad we already saw last time, you know the rest of the games were coming up on the show. This is the next in this line of handhelds by Epoch, with that epic commercial. Here's the only artwork I found. Very, very bad, rough graphics, because there's not a lot to say about Mr. Rich Man. This one is the 76th game that we've seen that's a handheld that's not Tiger Electronics and not Nintendo Game & Watch. And then in Europe, it was released by Grandstand, I believe, and this is what it looked like. Again, terrible, terrible picture, but that's it. That's all we got for pictures, and it's another game we really can't play. So take a look at some gameplay footage of Mr. Rich Man. This one is the 7th game that we've seen by Epoch. They also have the console, the Epoch Cassette Vision, that's in Japan only. This is part of that 4 series of games that Epoch did. I think we're going to see all 4 of them by the time we finish the show. But you can see here, Mr. Rich Man is, you move left, you move right, you even can move up a little bit, but you're essentially just picking up money. It's a cool idea, though, because you have different speeds of money. You know, coins are going to drop faster than the dollar bills. Dollar bills are going to float down, but it's essentially picking up all the things before they hit the bottom of the screen. Very, very simple time waster for a handheld, and it works. It gets the job done. As usual, it's a video game that we're not playing ourselves. We are looking at the video footage from East Exit Japan Merchant that I found on YouTube, who has a lot of very obscure video games, including this one. So of all the games you could play on all handhelds, we don't get to adequately rate this one. I'm just going to have to go with another 0 star for Mr. Rich Man, even though we pretty much got the idea from the video. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. It's Mr. Woodman, the last in the series of handhelds by Epoch, at least right now. I think this all occurred because someone showed me the commercial, and I was blown away just how funny the commercial was, and like, sure, all 4 games, you got it. This is another one that I have just terrible pictures of because not a lot of things are captured for this. This is Mr. Woodman, the last in this 4 series that Epoch did, and then the other one that was done in the United Kingdom, which is essentially the same game. But that's all I have for screenshots. But we do have what the game is. This one's a little bit more interesting when you think of handhelds. It does have more things going on and things happening. This is the 76th handheld that we've seen, or sorry, wait, this is the 77th handheld that we've seen on Chronologically Gaming that's not Tiger Electronics and not Nintendo Game & Watch. The 8th game that we've seen that's a handheld that Epoch has done. Lots of games, though, on the Epoch Cassette Vision we've already checked out. Yeah, right? So the game is making the tree come to be grow, and then you have to chop the tree down while also watching out for bears. And also at the top of the screen there are monkeys that or is that kids or monkeys at the top? I can't really tell, but something's falling out of the tree and you have to save them. So there's multiple things that are happening at the same time, and it's another one of those handhelds that again is a time waster, but at least there's not just one goal or objective. You have multiple goals and objectives. So cool. I dig it. It is an LCD game, like most of the handhelds. This all started because of Nintendo Game & Watch. They started the trend, and a lot of people wanted to copy it. I don't really know if there's anything before Nintendo Game & Watch, but I know that they are one of the first ones we ever saw that started to make more video games like this in the palm of your hand. It looks all right. Same thing, this is videos from the East Exit Japan Merchant. Thanks for the video footage. And of all the games you could play on handhelds, still, I'm sure we could adequately rate it just by watching it, but because we weren't able to play it ourselves, it's got to go with 0 for all the games you could play in the palm of your hand. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. We're next going to play on the Sharp MZ line of home computers. This is Muck Mac. That's it, Muck Mac. Very, very rare, very obscure. This one, I do have a box for. The last time we played a game by BBG Software, I said if you can find a box for Ladybug on the Sharp MZ, I'd give you $1,000. Well, guess what? This game, I did find a box. I don't think we were able to find the other one, though. So here, this one is by BBG Software, The box, though, you can tell, is a fabrication of a really terrible picture because this is another really hard to come by one. This one is the 22nd game we've seen for Sharp MZ line of home computers. And this one's another one that's not... the computer originated in Japan, but it did come to Europe, and so we played a game from Germany, and this one's another one from the United Kingdom. After Ladybug, I'm not sure what to expect. Also, what do you gather from this box? This does not sell the game whatsoever. What in the world is this? Bubbles? I can't even tell. But of course, we have a terrible picture of the box, so it's hard to really make it out. It is a cassette tape that we're looking at. And if you look at the bottom, it's for the Sharp MZ700 and the Sharp MZ800, which doesn't exist. The MZ800 home computer will be coming out in 1983, so this might have been a later box, but this game is available for that if you have the game. What other artwork do we have for Muckmack? Oh, we got the instructions. Great. Oh, but the screenshot, you can't read anything. Maybe they were just loading instructions, so it wasn't going to help us anyway. But it doesn't tell us anything about the game because I can't read it. It's too blurry. We do have an example of the screenshot. Oh, we have two different examples, actually. This was available on two cassettes on either side. So if you popped in the one side for the MZ700, the game looked like this. But if you flip the cassette over, the game looked like this if you popped it into the MZ800. So it's like updated graphics on the other side of the cassette tape. That's freaking awesome. Let's pop in and play some Muckmack by BBG Software at some time in November 1982. We have no idea when this one came out. And this is another one we're going to go ahead and load and fast forward the cassette tape loading because we don't have time for that. It's going to load Muckmack. I am playing it on the MZ700 because we only know about the MZ700 right now. So if you want to play on the MZ800, you'll have to wait till 1983 whenever that computer comes out. So this one allows you to change and redefine the keys, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit key and K and then move up, down, left, and right. Love it. That's how I like my games, where you can make your own keys that you want. And then we hit K to start. Oh, no, not K to start. Up, down, left, right. And we put S to start. Yeah, there we go. And we are in. Muckmack is yet another Pac-Man clone. It is so much like Pac-Man. I would like the sci-fi theme, though. And the controls are working very well. And you can see the games are running fast, smooth for a Pac-Man style game. What you pick up is gigantic and large. And it looks like we're taking out squids. Can we warp out the side? I don't even know if the enemies can do that, but I'll take it. Looking good. They flash before they change back. It looks like there's... Is that a tombstone in the middle of the screen? So many questions because are we playing as Muckmack? I have no idea. But it's definitely Pac-Man. Oh, cool. They flashed in and out of a different... And we go on to move on to round 2 after that. Sweet. Yeah, the animation of the power pills, it looks like multiple power pills. It's awesome. No. They got me that time. The sound is minimal. There's not like crazy good sound on the Sharp MZ700, but it's every time you pick up a pill, it's making what sounds like a static or feedback sound, so it makes the game feel even more sci-fi-ish playing it. So on the show, we call these arcade maze games. This is the 307th arcade maze game. You know, it's a maze game on one screen, very similar to Pac-Man. This is the 307th we've seen on all systems, all platforms. Whoa, I can't believe I got that. So there's already a lot out there. It's obviously copying Pac-Man. This is the 135th Pac-Man clone that we've seen on Chronologically Gaming, and that's on all systems and all platforms. Lots and lots of Pac-Man that's out there. Gosh, that's so cool. On home computers, this is the 93rd Pac-Man clone. So there's a lot of Pac-Man that we've already played here on Chronologically Gaming. This is the very first one that we've ever seen on the Sharp MZ line of home computers, but it wouldn't surprise me if there was another Pac-Man that's out there that we missed, because there's a lot of games in Japan that we've tried to locate and find, but they're pretty tricky. So this one is, as of right now, the only official way to play Pac-Man on any home computer is Pac-Man on the Atari home computer. Other than that, everything else is clones of Pac-Man that we had mentioned. So the tiers of Pac-Man, if you want to like compare this to the other games that are Pac-Man-like that are out there, the top tier, the best of the best, is the official Pac-Man on the Atari home computer. That one's still very, very good. The other one that's exceptional Pac-Man is Ghost Hunter for the Atari home computer. Yeah, I like the way this one plays. It gets the job done for Pac-Man. And if this really is the first or the only game right now you could play Pac-Man-like on the Sharp MZ, yeah, you'd love this. The next tier of Pac-Man clones after that would be games that we rated around the 4-star range. And that would be Hungry Horse for the Sinclair ZX Spectrum, Jelly Monsters for the Commodore VIC-20, Serpentine on lots of home computers, Snack Attack for the Apple II, or Traffic Jam on the Tomy Tudor. The next tier of Pac-Man games would be like the above average, 3.5 stars for all the games you could play on home computers, and that'd be games like Gulp Man, Mouse Attack, Caterpillar, oh, I died again, Gobbler, Megabug, and things like that. This one, I'd say, falls in the range of the perfectly average Pac-Man games that you could play right now. I mean, this is colorful, this is bright, and you did see if you flip this cassette over and you got the MZ800, it looks even better. So I would give this one the same rating as games we've seen like Jawbreaker, which really was close to Pac-Man-ish on home computers, or Scarf Man, or Trash Man. And those are on all kinds of different home computers. There is, though, a way that you can see this if you wanted to, because I don't think we'll ever see this on the MZ800. So I wanted to show everyone footage of what it's like to play the Muck Mac on the MZ800, because this right here, this looks even closer to Pac-Man. This reminds me more of like Jelly Monsters on the Commodore VIC-20. It's really, really good. And I look over in the chat for everyone's ratings. Yeah, it's 3. Yeah, the versions, the 2 different versions that are included, and then lots of mostly averages in the chat right now. 3 stars, very dead average. I love it, or 2.5 stars. So you can see if you had it plugged in, or you had it on the flip side. This even has the dots. Pac-Man looks like Pac-Man. I don't even think there's any lawsuit involved because, hey, Wild West of gaming, just do whatever you want to do, right? So cool. All right, there it was on the MZ800, but yeah, I'd say of all the games you could play on all home computers, Muck Mac is a solid time. Average for everything on it that you could play, but you know there's a lot out there. Those examples I gave were just a few. There's even way more than that. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is.
Discover Atari.
Coming up next, it's Necromancer. This one is a big one. On the Atari home computer only. At least it's not going to be released on anything else for a long, long time. You're going to see this on other Atari hardware at some point, but Necromancer is a big game. Let's get into it. First of all, the box. Take a look at that. That is so well done. It looks epic. It looks like they're even incorporating parts of the game in the front of the box with very well done artistic style. And look at the wisp that you shoot out is flying out. It's awesome. This one is the 405th game we've seen on the Atari home computer. And Synapse Software means we're in for a lot of fun. This is the 11th game we've seen by Synapse Software. They brought us really good games like Protector 1 and 2, Chicken, Nautilus, Slime, Seamus, and Picnic Paranoia. So I'm expecting something really, really good, something fun. Let's flip it over the back, and it requires joystick. You bet it did. Or does. So this one is explaining the story already on the back, and they've done this with other Synapse Software games. We'll get into more of the lore, if you want to call it, when we open up the manual. But Necromancer is pretty cool with how they're setting the stage. In fact, when you read the back, you think you're playing a role-playing game, but you're not. Yes. Oh yeah, and the box that everyone saw, that was because it was most of the original early boxes you see at the top, they didn't come in like full box form. They usually would be able to hang on boutiques for electronics and so forth. All right, so here we go. There's the ad you would have seen in magazines. One of the later ads, I think, because we're seeing it when it first came out. But yes, first restore the forest, plant a glade of enchanted trees, and weave a network of ancient spells to protect them from hordes of attacking troglodytes. What in the world? This is how you sell the video game? I guess so, by Synapse, right? Awesome. There's the cassette if you want to pop it into your Atari to play, or the 5 1/4 floppy disk. That one doesn't even look like the real disc. An example of the screenshot. We do have the manual, though. Tell us, what is Necromancer? This one is done by Bill Williams. It's the second game we've seen by Bill. The only other thing is so far has been Salmon Run. Way to go, Bill. All right, so this game is very difficult to describe, and we love that. We love games that we can't categorize here on Chronologically Gaming. So everyone that's here for the live show, if you want to help me define what this game is, like where this falls, it is something original and something new. So we're first going to scroll down. It's going to give us the loading instructions on cassette, on disc, or on cartridge. I don't even think the cartridge version of the Atari home computer came out. I do know there's a way later release that was on the Atari XEGS or the XE game system. So that one is out there as a cartridge, but I don't think there's one for the home computer. The object of the game is your task is grow an army of trees in the enchanted forest and march this army through the Necromancer's vaults, finally destroy the evil in the Necromancer's foul lair. So I'll break it down to you. Necromancer pits you, a Luminar, the wizard, against the evil wizard Tetragorn. You have to assemble a tree army and destroy Tetragorn before his evil reigns supreme. That's the story of the game. It explains here how to start the game, pause if you want to, and the bottom of the screen shows you your strength. You have a maximum of 2,000 if you can get up to that point, but I've never seen anybody get that high. The game consists of 3 different acts. Every act in this game is essentially its own game. And that's another thing that this game does different compared to all the games we've seen up to this point. This is Act 1, and the forest could hold its own as an arcade-style game. And I'll go through the game when we actually play it, but it explains how you control the wisp that flies around, what your objective is, and what you're supposed to do. Since we have a pause, that's built into the game, why not use it? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I explained that this game could have elements of tower defense, which doesn't really exist. It has elements of a fixed platformer. It has elements of a command shooter. It's got all kinds of things that it's doing, but this is not based on anything in the arcade. This is a whole new thing. Okay, so after you get to the first act, and it explains what the end does, all the trees you grow in the first act will determine the difficulty of the game. So this one is a video game that allows the difficulty to change based on how you play the game. That is revolutionary that it does that. How many trees you grow in the first act, you'll get to use those in Act 2, which is the vault. That's where you're going to use trees to destroy spider larvae before you can descend to meet the Necromancer. The more spider larvae you destroy in Act 2 will determine how many spiders the Necromancer has to go against you in Act 3. So I told you this was a big game. Very difficult to describe here on the format we usually do on Chronologically Gaming. And there's a lot to this. But as we scroll through the manual, you can see there's a lot of explanation because this is something completely different. It explains when you end Act 2 what happens, how you want to gain strength, and then it moves on to Act 3, where you get to the Necromancer's lair. Here, you have to destroy all the Necromancer's graves and then destroy the Necromancer. While you're doing this, he has spiders that if you didn't destroy them in Act 2, they all start to come after you, and they're like, some of them can be invincible. It's this is crazy. Lots of different stuff for this one. Yeah. Oh, really? Marshall says that the XEGS carts work on the computer, so that's cool. Yeah, pop it in. So it does work with a cartridge. Awesome. So this one's going to break down all the scoring. Now, the reason why I say this is unique is if we scroll through this, you think of it as 3 sections of different games, and we've seen that video games try to switch it up, play different modes while you're going through the game. This game's different. This game is 3 separate arcade games that could stand on their own, but the game has an end. It doesn't loop like most arcade games do. This one, if you can complete the 3 different sections, then it's done. Like you've finished the game. So I think all it does is flash at the end. But that's big. That's a completely different kind of experience. All right, so this one, it's time to play Necromancer. Let's pop it and play by Bill Williams at sometime in November 1982. This is going to be crazy. It is action-packed, too. So we're going to be seeing lots of stuff happen on the screen. All right. First, the music. This starts off simple, and it builds with chords. And look at the effect of the tree in the top right. That's the trees you're going to be building as Illuminar, the wizard, against the evil Tetragor Necromancer. Oh, good point, Marshall. Yeah, I believe Seamus did have an ending, too. Oh, and if Bill Williams did that, I don't think we credited him on Chronologically Gaming. So this is how it begins. Nothing happens when I push the Option key. Nothing happens when I push the Select key because the game changes difficulty live while you're doing it. All right, so I like the fact that this is one of the first games that has multiplayer screens that could be their own arcade game, but the game has an end. All right, so here we go. Let's go right into it. All right, as we warp in, this is Act 1. I've already paused the screen because you can on the Atari home computer. Act 1 begins. Now we control Illuminar, and he doesn't move. He just sits in the middle of the screen. The only thing we control is a wisp that moves all around. So I'll give you an example. I'm going to move my wisp around. Check this out. The wisp is it's controlled with the Atari VCS joystick, digital joystick, and the wisp is just knocking out the other ogres that are trampling around. As you do that, you start losing strength. Notice my strength goes down. That blue enemy that just popped in and left already was called an iPod. Yeah, right? It's called an iPod, but when you pick that up, it lets you have more seeds every time you kill one of those. But you don't just want to clear the enemies away. That's not going to help you defeat the Necromancer. What you do is you try to grow trees. As you're growing trees, you're protecting the trees from all the other enemies. This makes it easier to protect saplings from the ogre's deadly attacks. If any spiders appear, you want to hit them with a wisp. It increases the strength you get, which will help you stay alive longer as Illuminar the wizard. Now, if a spider touches one of the trees you're trying to grow, they will poison the tree. And the reason why I'm pausing and explaining this is because the game is very fast, very action-packed. A poison tree has like this little skull on it. If you move your wisp over the tree, you cure the tree of poison because you got to keep as many trees as you can alive. However, if you finish this stage and all your strength is gone, that's how you move on to the next stage, by the way. It doesn't complete by doing an objective. You only go to the next act if you have run out of strength. So as you're playing this, let's say 2 trees is all you have. You will only carry 2 trees, and then the game will lower the difficulty to make it easier for you automatically. That's what this does. All right, so make sure you grow as many trees as possible because they are your army. You're growing a tree army. The more you have, the stronger Illuminar is, and then you'll begin Act 2. All right, here we go. Let's do this. All right, let me get the tree out. And you can see if the trees are young saplings, they will get destroyed by the other ogres. So you have to protect them and make sure... Oh, see? They're starting to tear a little bit down. Okay, I got a full-size one. Nice. There's another one and a couple saplings there. I'm making a ring around myself to see if I can hold them off. All right, it's looking good. I also like the way this controls. The wisp kind of homes in on the other enemies, which is a nice touch. Oh, see, they destroyed another one of the saplings. I'm going to need some more. But if the tree does reach full-grown strength, then all the ogres do is just turn around and go the other way. But I like the way that the wisp feels. Oh, there's the spider. Kill it. You'll get some strength from it. But, got it. There we go. Nice. And you can see my strength goes down every time I kill anything on the screen. Except the spider. Then I'll gain a little strength. All right, we got a sizable army here. Let's see if we can get this sapling. No, don't touch it. I'm trying to protect the one on the top left. It's not fully grown yet. But playing every single video game up to this point, this is refreshingly amazing. This is all whacked out and weird, like the concept, but originality, this is tops. This is so cool. And this is just the first act. We haven't even got to the... oh, there we go. Poison one of them. Strength went down. Bam. All right, so now... I'll go ahead and pause here. This is the Act 2. So this means all the trees that you saw on the screen right before we were exploded into oblivion, we now carry on to this act. This one, Illuminar has to kill larvae in the vaults. That's those little eggs inside of the rectangles. Right now they're larvae, and it's not necessary to kill all the larvae on this level before moving on to the next one. The spiders you leave in the vaults have to be fought later in the third act on the cemetery. So in other words, the more of the larvae you destroy here, then they won't get to full size and you won't have to fight them later. Now, when Illuminar walks in this one, you're guiding him with the wisp again. So this time the wizard Illuminar is actually moving around. But notice that the screen view changed. Now we're on a side view as if it was a platformer. Oh yeah, and the sound design. Someone mentioned in the chat. It's so nice. It's done very, very well. Utilizing the Poke chip of the Atari is awesome. So now this also has multiple stages. So as you go on, you're going to collect question marks. And so the question marks will most likely have stairs that lead down, or they'll give you other bonuses, sometimes strength and things like that. If the stairs lead down, you actually flip to the screen below it, and this one has multiple levels. So you see on the bottom left, we're on level 1. We have to go all the way to the bottom at level 5. If we get there, then we'll go into the cemetery, and that way and when we get to the cemetery, we'll face all the spiders we didn't kill or let hatch in this area. The only way you can kill the larva, though, is you have to lure trees over the tops of where the larva is so that the roots of the trees grow down to kill the spider larva. Everyone ready? Here we go. All right, so you can see I'm just moving the wisp again, and I'm controlling Illuminar by having him walk to the side. I don't want to get grabbed by the hands or you'll have a game over. So you can see we have this one. I want to take this tree, and now that I moved to the far side, I can control the tree, and I'm moving the tree to the other side, making sure that doesn't get grabbed either or I'll lose the tree. And then go ahead and plant the tree. Let's get another one. Another spider. Looks like it hatched out. Uh-oh. See, I should have stopped. Yeah, I should have stopped the tree and then moved Illuminar over. Yeah, but the control's so interesting. If you see the objective, I've already destroyed 2 of the larvae, and we have one in the bottom left that's about to hatch. Let's go ahead and get that one. We'll use as many trees as we can at least, but if I'm not controlling a tree, I can... Oh no, Illuminar got pulled away. Now, if you... let's go ahead and walk to the right. So all I'm doing to walk to the right is I'm moving the wisp to the right and then moving my character to the right. All right, so I want to get the spider. Yeah, destroy it, and then let's have the tree. I should have walked down. Now I have to control the tree moving down the stairs to get to this level. Let's go ahead and have him latch there. And let's have Illuminar go downstairs. If I can get him to go to the question mark, we might be able to go to the next level. There we go. So stairs are now going down. We're going to have Illuminar walk down. And we'll just ignore the other larvae. And let's go ahead and start on this one. Quick. Every level you go further and further down, the hands go down fast. And there you go. We ended on Act 2 and didn't get to see Act 3 because after you get pulled by the hands enough times, that's it. So you have to watch where you're walking. You also lose trees if the hands grab you as well. All right, so if you do make it all the way to level 5, that's the graveyard where you actually fight off against the Necromancer. And the battle is intense. Spiders are everywhere. We'll give it one more shot, though. Yeah, already in the chat, I'm seeing Psychosis Media calling out 5 stars of all the games you could play, 4.5 to 5 from Curtis, and then GE Stream saying 5 of all the games you could play on all home computers. This is epic. This one is not only fun to play, it's just original and different, and it's so new that it makes me want to see the end. It's really tough though. In all my playtests, whenever I even got to the graveyard at the end, it takes a lot of practice to be able to stay alive long enough because your strength is slowly going down. There's also cool strategies you can try to do. Oh, the spider touched me. Where like how do you plant your trees to keep the most alive before you go to the next stage, or how do you destroy the larva the best way with all the trees that you have from this stage? So I'm covering it up from the screen here, but down at the bottom right of the screen it tells you how many seeds you have left to plant. But you can always pick up more if you go over that blue enemy called the iPod. And I got another 4.5 from all the games you could play on all home computers. The only thing I could say that would be better is if this was controlled with an analog joystick, because you're controlling essentially a cursor on the screen. The Wisp would do even better if it was controlled with an analog joystick. Come on, protect him. No, it got one. Every time that those ogres walk over the seed, it just destroys it. So I just wasted all those seeds. And there you go. Strength is all done. We're on the next one. Meeb's throwing out 5 stars too for all the games you could play on all home computers. All right, here we go. So this is what the control's like. The Wisp moves with the joystick. It's only when I hold down the red button on my Atari VCS joystick that I can move Illuminar where I want. Let's have him go quick. See, I can have him go downstairs. There's already one flashing. Let's see if we can get this sucker. Nope, nope, kill it. So I'm just gonna just start planting them down. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna see if I can travel. Oh, a hand got me, darn. I'm just gonna see if I can travel down to the bottom steps and not destroy any of the larvae and just move on to the next one. Kinda love your rating. All right, so let's carefully move down. Get the stairs to go. We'll get another question mark there. And notice how fast the hands are. It gets faster and faster. Let's move down to level 3. I'm just going to ignore the trees. We're not going to destroy any larvae, just so you can see what the last... No! That's not the end, right? Okay, it's not. The question marks are popping up in random places, but look how fast the hands are. Or at least those are pretty predictable, at least. Ooh, they blew me up, and that's the end of that one. Darn. Yeah, very difficult, but I would keep going. I would totally want to keep playing as long as I can to see more and get to the end of Necromancer. Man, every stage, though, is so interesting. All right, so the other thing that's interesting about this is a fantasy-themed game that's not a role-playing game. And I looked at the stats for all the games we've seen up to this point. This one is the 173rd video game that we've played that's a fantasy theme, but not a role-playing game, or have elements of role-playing. But majority of them were text adventure games, so what do you know? This is also, I would say, the best video game we've seen up to this point where you are playing as a wizard. Even better than Wizard War, which was, you know, very exceptional. Yeah, and it's also, you're not playing as a wizard in an RPG, is what I mean to say. So it's the best video game thus far where you're playing as a wizard and you're represented as a wizard, but it's not a role-playing game. It is so good. We played Shadowfax and Wizard War, you know, where you're playing it. Gandalf was when you're playing as Shadowfax, but this one, man, you get to do magic and wizard things, and it's just executed so well. All right, so I've seen lots of ratings in the chat, mostly above 4.5. I don't think I saw any 4 stars. Yep, Marshall's saying 5, top tier. I have to agree. There's a 4.5 or 5 that's out there. Yeah, I love the new style, and I want to play more, and I want to get better at it because I practiced, had a lot of fun, and it's still, even whenever you die, you want to go back and play again. It's original. So 5 stars for Necromancer. One of the best games you can play on any home computer right now. All right, now it's time to put our video game playing on pause as we play every single video game all over the world, every region, on all consoles, all handhelds, everything that you can find a video game for, we're going to play it. Next time on Chronologically Gaming, lots of games for the TRS-80 color computer. We will nibble some games, munch some games, and play pinball. That's it for today, and like I always say, if you take the red pill, you stay in video game land, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.